What is Orange Shirt Day? Is National Day of Truth and Reconciliation the same thing as Orange Shirt Day? Here are the fundamental questions answered right here about Orange Shirt Day, National Day of Truth and Reconciliation for Indigenous people in Canada, and Every Child Matters. Hi there, I'm Mallory, and I help Indigenous people and allies learn about Indigenous culture, how to live with resilience using Native teachings, and how to make real progress towards truth and reconciliation. In this video, I'll be answering the top biggest questions about the meaning of Orange Shirt Day, Every Child Matters, truth and reconciliation, and the important things that you need to know, as well as some events and learning opportunities that are happening right now. Now, I've put together the top 5 questions answered about Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation Day. This is for Indigenous people and allies, of course. Now, let me know if you've asked any of these questions in the comments below. I've ordered them from 5th most common to the top and most first place question we have gotten in the #1 spot, which I will leave to the end. So let's go, starting with number 5. The 5th most common question about Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation is why orange shirts? In other words, what is Orange Shirt Day? And what does an orange shirt have to do with truth and reconciliation? To put it simply, Orange Shirt Day raises awareness about the residential school system in Canada and honors the experiences of Indigenous people past and present. Wearing an orange shirt is a symbol of solidarity and remembrance of the history of Indigenous people in Canada. Orange Shirt Day takes place on this national day in Canada on September 30th, whereas Every Child Matters, that appears on many of the orange shirts that you can buy, is an ongoing campaign that brings awareness to honor residential school survivors and family members any day of the year. Truth and Reconciliation Day, or National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, is the designated day to honor First Nations, Inuit, and Métis survivors and family members of the residential school system. Truth and reconciliation research, or trying to discover the truth of what actually happened in residential schools, started in 2007, which resulted in a final report in 2019, which are known as the Truth and Reconciliation Calls to Action, or recommendations to further the reconciliation between Canadians and Indigenous peoples. Have you asked this question before? Was the answer that you received different than the one I just gave? How does it compare? Let me know in the comments below. Now, working our way through the top 5 questions, next is number 4. The 4th most common question about Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation Day is who can or should participate in Orange Shirt Day? If you're not Native, can you go to these events? If you're a brand new Indigenous ally, or you're Indigenous but maybe you feel disconnected to your Indigenous community or heritage, it might be really intimidating to participate in Orange Shirt Day events or National Day of Truth and Reconciliation activities. And that is completely okay. I could say that if you're a respectful Indigenous ally, you're welcome and totally fine to attend all events for National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, but I can't speak for them all. Some communities are extremely inclusive, whereas others are less inclusive. So you might have to use your best judgment if you're non-Indigenous and you're an ally wanting to support Indigenous people and communities at these in-person gatherings. Now, all of the events, workshops, and courses that we at Tribal Trade host are 100% inclusive to all. So you don't have to be Indigenous, even if you are Indigenous but you feel like you're not. Everything we do at Tribal Trade Co. is for you. So who can participate in Orange Shirt Day? The quick answer is everyone in Canada should be recognizing and honoring the day, in my opinion. Now, have you asked this question before? Who can participate? Was the answer that you received different than the one that I just gave? Let me know in the comments, please. Next, for number 3, the 3rd most common question about Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation Day is how do I talk to my kids or students in my class about residential schools? It's a rather difficult conversation to have, right? I know education and truth about history is important, but isn't it inappropriate to talk about these things with young kids? Where do you even begin? These are some of the questions that I get asked. On Orange Shirt Day, all educators should absolutely be including some lessons or activities surrounding Indigenous culture and history. If you're not, you're doing your students a massive disservice to their learning experience and cultural awareness, which will undoubtedly contribute to their future. Just saying. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. So yes, you need to have these conversations as clearly, simply, and empathetically as possible. If you need help navigating these conversations surrounding residential schools, you can download a free guide I created on how to talk about Indigenous residential schools. I will link it down below. If the question on how can I talk to my kids or students about residential schools is one that you've asked yourself, I highly recommend checking out this video right here on how to talk about residential schools to kids, which is made specifically for teachers, educators, and the #1 influencer for little ones and youth, which is, of course, their parents. The second most common question about Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation Day is, how do I deal with grown adults who ignore truth and reconciliation? It's super, super unfortunate that so many adults in Canada and even in the United States were taught an incorrect, manipulated curriculum in school. Anytime I encounter an adult who's completely ignorant and unaware of the history of Canada with Indigenous people, I really try to approach them with compassion and be understanding that they were lied to in the most crucial and developmental years of life, their school years. Believe it or not, what you learn in school when you're a young kid or in your adolescence does stick with you. So it's really hard for most adults who've already done their schooling to be told, hey, I know we said Indigenous people were uncivilized and liars who made up fake stories about having their land stolen from them, but after digging into the truth, we're so sorry, but maybe you can take the time out of your busy life to relearn history again, because we apologize, but what you were taught was false. And we did it knowingly to try to corrupt your young and innocent brain. Thankfully, in the workforce or professional environments, many leaders of large companies have recognized how important it is for people in their organization to have awareness of Indigenous people and culture, so that they can have better relationships with them, whether it's their clients, coworkers, partners, or even just being better informed in their conversations, or being a better person who cares about these kinds of things who impact millions of people. I've pasted some links down below where you can learn more about how to be a better Indigenous ally, or how to support truth and reconciliation if you are a professional and wanting to educate yourself on Indigenous people and communities. Also, if you want to build relationships and all of those amazing things in the professional environment, check out the links below. Now it's time for the final #1 most important question asked about Orange Shirt Day and National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. The first most important question about Orange Shirt Day and National Day for Truth and Reconciliation is, how can I help? How can I participate? What is going on? Depending on where you are located, there are likely quite a few in-person events happening in your area. These events surrounding Orange Shirt Day or the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. If you're in education, there's probably something happening at your school, or there should be. If you're a professional working in a large organization, there's hopefully something happening in your workplace to honor the survivors of Indigenous residential schools. If you're someone who just wants to participate in Orange Shirt Day or Truth and Reconciliation Day, then there would definitely be public events honoring the day that you could attend. And of course, we are hosting a free Truth and Reconciliation workshop series leading up to the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, where you can actually learn about Indigenous culture and how to participate in Orange Shirt Day. These are interactive workshops where you'll have the opportunity to learn from me, ask questions, and connect with Indigenous people and non-Indigenous allies who have the same goal of reconciling and building a strong future together. You can save your seat for one of these free workshops at the link below. So that's it for the top 5 questions about Orange Shirt Day and National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Let me know in the comments if any of your questions about Orange Shirt Day were unanswered. If I missed them, I apologize. Please put them in the comments and I will answer them there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below, and be sure to share this video with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.